infamous rat bastard. Frank, tell me about Sync and some of the bands you recorded. For instance, let's start off with your band, Myron and the 2 Watts. What were they all about?
Myron and 2 Watts, we're the guys that started Sync. It was on Biscayne Boulevard, 76th Street in Miami. And we opened that place up in late '79.
Wow.
Myron and 2 Watts was my
Myron?
high school band that we kind of developed into like this, just like this really bad punk cover, changed the lyric. It's unlistenable.
Yeah.
Myron and 2 Watts was unlistenable, but you would have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready for this game? If you have virgin ears, get out. If you're curious, stick around. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 1.
Tight Squeeze. That's one of the cool bands back in the 80s. They actually managed their own bar.
Right.
And that's where the kids would play.
Right.
And the girls. The girls were one of the influential bands where you got the Weasels and Charlie, Pickett, and all those guys came out of the girls. Doug Lenchner, who started the BP Awards.
The BP Awards.
Right. That whole Finders thing. That was the girls. Those guys were the Miami Beach guys. They were musically the most sophisticated as far as let's piss people off, next to the Eat. You know, they were kind of like, we're Hollywood.
Yeah.
These were the Miami guys.
So they're different camps, basically, right?
Right. I think it was basically Miami and Hollywood was the main camps.
Right.
I didn't really see much out of Broward.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So.
I didn't see much out of Broward.
Right.
But I did see Hollywood and Miami. The reason is most of the musicians were replants from up north, and they just wore their bands on their sleeves.
Okay. Balkan Rock Club.
Balkan Rock Club is one of my favorite clubs. Myron and 2 Watts would play there. The Eat would play there. A lot of great bands would play there. The Cichlids, the Cookies, a lot of the Hollywood bands. It was a great place. And they got shut down because they were selling marijuana in a certain brand of cigarettes.
Really? I didn't know that. Damn.
Finders was a really great club to hang out. It was Miami Beach. North Beach it's called, but we had a few. We had a Velvet Underground night there once. It was really cool with Charlie Pickett, and then we had a Black Flag. First time they played Miami.
Yeah.
Finders, and that was a really great show.
Wow.
New Wave Lounge was, preceded all this. This was New Wave Lounge was a great place. The DJ Mont, which I later worked with as a DJ. Montserrat, great DJ, and he got that place going with people just hang out listening to music, but most of the bands would play there live on the stage.
Okay. What about the Button?
The Button in Fort Lauderdale. Great bar, always smelled like puke. Charlie played there a lot. We recorded Charlie there at the Button. I wasn't there for the recording. I set everything up in a van and had these other guys. In fact, your drummer from the front,
Larry Hill.
Larry Hill.
Yeah.
And all the tech guys from Sync went there in a van. We ran a snake in there. Recorded Charlie on the 8-track. I think it was the 8-track, yeah. And brought it back to the studio. I was out of town that night for something. I don't know what I had to do.
That became Charlie Pickett Live at the Button.
It was Live at the Button. They brought it back to the studio and we mixed it.
How about the Agora?
Agora, which was later became the Button South.
Right.
Agora was this Tuesday night punk night And I would go in there to do sound for. They would allow me to do sound because well, he's a studio guy, so he won't blow the system. And I knew most of the material of some of the bands, like the Cookies and the Rolling Pins. And the sound guys there didn't really like those bands. They didn't sound like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Or Aerosmith. So it was like, okay, let this guy do the sound, you know. So they trusted me, and I got lucky, and I got to do sound for the Front and the Cookies and all these great bands, and it was really a powerful system. I had a good time. It was Tuesday nights, everybody was slam dancing on this big rug.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a punk night, but it was post-punk, and it was like kind of cheesy on that end. Everyone thought it was serious, but fashionably it was serious of what they were wearing, you know.
Yeah.
Other than that, musically, bands like U2 played there.
Yeah.
Front open up.
This song will tell you what it was like to be a heavy punk in 1979, and how incredibly heavy we were, you know, at that time. The heaviosity of it was just overwhelming. And don't fuck with that. Don't fuck with that, Polish Americans.
We were like one of the great live bands at the time, and they were already in the studio and they were putting out singles and stuff, and then they really wanted to do more album type recordings. Required 12, 13 songs.
Right.
And I picked up on a couple of those sessions. We recorded a lot more than that. We recorded at least 20, I can't remember. And we brought in sax players and stuff.
For the E?
Yeah, and they were really a great band. They're a very influential band. They influenced the bands in the West Coast of the United States.
All right.
Charlie Pickett,
One of the nicest guys down here.
Sound for him. He's one of my favorite guitar players. He plays that slide. He does a lot of cover songs. He wrote a couple of songs on his own. They were really, really good with John Galway.
All right.
Remember
John Sultan.
John Sultan, great guitar player, and Dave Freshnider. Band very influential. They influenced many bands. One I would assume would be REM. They also influenced the Reactions.
Okay. And Steve Hoffman and
The
the
Rolling Pins are the most notorious band that I had to deal with. I always got bad reputations because I dealt with certain bands, and Rolling Pins was one of those bands that I was doing sound for and would be associated with. And, Steve Hoffman, Bob Roop, who later became, Bob Roop and Kevin McIver, who later became the Bobs.
Right.
Who later became the Silos, and I guess Bob Roop went on to join a band called Cracker or something like that. But the Rolling Pins were amazing. They had the great songs, real simple, but they just really well performed. John Galway also was the drummer of that band. It was pretty much an all-star band before, they became all-stars after.
Yeah.
But they were pretty. They played the Agora. They would just shock the place.
The Bob's so named because most of the guys in the band were named Bob.
Well, the Bobs came out of the Rolling Pins.
Right.
So to me, it was like the drummer of the Cichlids joined the Rolling Pins, guitar player, bass player, and I thought it was a great idea. And the Bobs put out a couple of great EPs, really great songs, and the Bobs, after they kind of broke up, but then they kind of moved to New York, and 6 months later became the Silos.
Okay. about the Chant?
The Chant was a group that was more songwriter related. They were more laid back. They were very, I kind of reminded me a lot of Wire, maybe I would say REM type. And they were, you know, I just liked them. They had some really good songs. Like I said, they were more laid back, kind of more songwriter related.
Okay. Music. The Coins. Did you ever work with the Coins?
I think so. Robert Mascaro was a great manager. He knew everything about image. He managed the Dictators in New York years back, and then he managed the Cichlids and Larry Joe Miller, Peter from Z-Cars. He was just a great manager, but he had his flaws. He put a lot of effort in image and how you're supposed to act at a live gig, and if you can't record in 15 minutes in a studio, the session's over. The first 15 minutes. He had all these weird rules. I had to deal with Robert almost every other day. You know, where it was so insane that I liked it. You know, him and Peter Patrick went to New York for New Music America, or New Music, whatever it was.
Yeah. And
it was a week with all the labels and stuff, and they were up there, and I had to bring them money that they were owed, cash. Back then they didn't have ATMs, so I'm carrying this cash to New York, and I get there and I find them on the corner of 57th and 5th, the New York Hilton, and I says, hey, they hadn't eaten like in 2 days. And I'm like, let me buy you guys a hot dog. You know, I gave them the money that they were supposed to have. And I said, well, let me buy you guys some hot dogs. And so I buy them a hot dog each. I go, hey, come on, you want another one? And Robert goes, what are you, nuts? What do you want us to do? Stretch our stomachs? So I'm like, okay. So he was that kind of guy. He also told me I should never be in more than one band.
Right. What was this?
I think he had everything covered except for one minor item: the music. He never had the songwriting of his bands were the worst fucking songs. You know, they just didn't put any effort into the songwriting. Maybe the lyrics, maybe the performance. You know, everybody had a look. Even when they recorded, they had a look. But this songwriting, what I think was the downfall. The songwriting was the downfall of Robert Mascaro's efforts. Okay. If he would have put any effort into the band for the songwriting, I think later on with Peter Patrick and Larry Joe Miller, he actually did that. He actually put effort into that. But I think, you know, that was the main thing, is the songs. You know, they weren't just core. You know, they were just like whatever. I didn't get into the songwriting of the bands he worked with. The sound was great. The performers were great. I think he should have put more effort into the songwriting, and that was where I didn't see eye to eye with Robert Mascaro.
Right, basically.
Yeah, that's why the band like the Cookies,
great
songwriters, and he could not manage the Cookies, because I think the Cookies would have outsmarted Robert, and that's hard to do. You know,
he opened doors though, Robert Mascaro.
Yeah, he opened the doors, but they went into like a room of mirrors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They weren't the right doors. Well, there was a band in 1980 I came across called the Cookies, and they were probably the most talented band of all the bands in that era.
Right.
I took some very distant trips in some very good company. I'd see the black marks up and down all the pages of my history.
New Wave Valens was a great place. The DJ Mont, which I later worked with as a DJ, Mont Gerard, great DJ, and he got that place going with people just hanging out listening to music, but most of the bands would play there live on the stage.
Okay. What about
27 Birds was with Shelter again, you know. The Front, we do a lot of shows there because that was pretty much the Front's territory.
Yeah.
Coconut Grove,
Right.
Coral Gables area, and Charlie would play there, and I would do some live recordings there and stuff. One of my favorite shows with the front was when Greg, the singer of the front, right on a lead break, ran off to the side of the stage and puked his brains out, and came back just in time to kick in with the next verse. You know, but that was one of my favorite rock moments. You know, when I saw that, this guy, this band is just genius. You know, I could puke right in the middle, keep going. Front was one of those bands that I worked with at the studio, and I also did sound for them live, and they were one of the most successful bands locally as far as draw. They were tight. They had great, you know, songs, lyrics. Again, a very well-read, musical knowledge band, and they just, you know, they just wanted to. They just had a great management. They just had like one of the first professional type bands I worked with.
They
recorded Immigration Report and their first single, and probably, you know, most of their stuff was recorded at Sync, and then they went on and re-recorded stuff at Criteria. You know, because Criteria they were just so impressed with the band that they gave them, and we did some TV shows too.
Yeah. What was Randy Rush like, their guitar player?
Randy Rush was one of the great guitar players. He just, you know, when the lights came on him, on his leads, it was just amazing. He wrote these amazing leads. He would sport a gun in his amp. But he was one of the great guitar players of the early 80s. And, you know, he was one of my, you know, influences, guitar for sure. Cats on Holiday was another very bar-like, I want to say bluesy, but very rock, god-like band.
Yeah.
They had great guitar players. The whole band was really, really talented. I like Cats on Holiday. They recorded a lot of stuff with Cats on Holiday, but they were really great live. They played Flames a lot. Zed Carter, Peter Patrick. I worked with Peter Patrick in his band, Peter Patrick Band. I did his recordings. Zed Cars, I didn't really have much with the Zed Cars, but I like I said, I worked a lot with Peter Patrick afterwards.
Right.
Yeah, he was a great artist.
He's a nice guy too, funny.
Yeah,
right?
very good vocalist, yeah.
How about the Weasels?
The Weasels were an early 80s band, very great band. We had John Stick, John Galway,
Right.
on drums, and Freschneider, guitar player.
David Froschneider?
Yeah, David Freschneider.
And Billy Vance?
And Billy Van. Great band. Weasels were like one of the top, I thought they were top post-punk bands of the era. The Ex-Cons, I recorded the Ex-Cons. They were all like in high school.
Right.
Rob Elber later on started a band called the Holy Terrors, which
Yeah.
I recorded Rob for years and years. But yeah, the Ex-Cons again were kind of influential sort of band. They were kind of like a songwriting punk, like post-punk songwriting, really good. I recorded with Isaac a lot of different projects, and Isaac did a project called the Eden's Rebels, in which we released a vinyl, and it was a great album. It was sort of an EP, sort of. It wasn't really an album. and we had. It was a good band. It was like really good songs. We really worked on the songs, like 4 or 5 really good songs. Nice guitar playing.
He's a nice guy.
Dave Cabrera was one of the guitar players.
Dave Cabrera's gone on to play with Ricky Martin.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's just some really good stuff on that EP. It was definitely way ahead of its time but he's one of the great songwriters, Isaac Baruch, at the early 80s.
How about the Screaming Sneakers? Eddie Gregg.
Eddie Gregg, great
right.
guitar player, and the drummer used to look like Phil Silvers.
Oh, Randy Blitz.
Randy Blitz.
Yeah. Tell me about Richard, and if you want to.
Richard's a really good promoter. He, I worked with him. 27 Birds. The Blitz. Then after 27 Birds, we moved to Hialeah to the Blitz for a few months, a couple of months, maybe 6 months or so.
Right.
And then we got a good deal in Miami Beach called Flynn's, and we moved the whole
shebang down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that went on for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And Shelter was he was very good on promoting and drawing bands from the West Coast and national bands to come down and play the area. Well, yeah, that band was called Shelter's Tab.
What's the story behind that?
Well,
Frank?
Shelter had a band that he played in. He was the singer, and in fact, he had one time auditioned for the band at the front.
Yeah, when they kicked Greg out.
Yeah, but he had a band, and they ran up a tab at the studio, my studio, and I said, okay, well, you know. She had this big anniversary show with Charlie Pickett and the Toys, which was another group I recorded.
The Toys, right? I remember the Toys. They were good.
And we decided we're going to put a band together called Shelter's Tab.
Right.
And all the lyrics are going to...
Yeah, what was some of the song title? Pay My Bill?
Yeah, something I don't remember. I don't want to remember. But
yeah.
We actually ran down the beach in the back of Flynn's, on the beach with our guitars.
Right.
We had it all set up. I built this is like 1983.
Yeah.
I built a wireless microphone. I don't think anyone ever saw a wireless microphone at the time, but I put one together. There might have been one, but
yeah.
We couldn't buy one. You had to build it. And we ran on the beach, and we're testing the mic outside behind the club, and they opened up the club, the back door, the emergency exit. We ran in there and just took over the stage, the gear that was sitting on the stage of the Toys.
Right.
And we just started to play all these songs, and Shelter just freaked out. But he couldn't do anything.
What was the name
of the club? Was in on it.
Let's be fair to Richard. What was the name? The Preachers, wasn't it a band?
Right, the Preachers.
The Preachers.
But you know, it was a good time. He gave me $100.
So he bribed you to stop.
Well, I was running around the club, and they were trying to figure out how was he singing, running around the club. I had this big blue wig on, and they didn't know who it was at first. And we were all kind of in disguise. So it was pretty intense.
Okay. How about the Drills? This is another band that.
Well, the Drills were a band that kind of was young, and they came out. They came out more in the mid '80s. They were very Ramones-like. Very G.G. Allen-like.
Okay.
And we would record, and the Drills would go, "Okay, let's go to a bar and start a fight after the recording sessions." And they were pretty much responsible for giving me the Rat Bastard name.
Oh, really?
The time it was released on the record was a Drills album. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And did they name you Rat Bastard?
No, that was
How did that...
my mom that named me. And they were so impressed that my mother called me a Rat Bastard that he put it on the record. The Blitz was Hialeah bar.
Yeah.
It was a Big Daddy's. A friend of mine was the manager. He's like, yeah, we'll do something here. So we went over there, and we had ex-cons would play there. Gun Club play there.
Yeah.
Joey Ramone hung out one night.
Yeah.
Big Daddy's, and I liked it. You know, it was
Yeah.
very comfortable. I knew the managers, and we didn't have any problem. We had good crowds, and then when we got the Flynn's, it was just such a good deal. We just had to move to Miami Beach. And Flynn's, it wasn't really a big stage, you know, but on the end of the stage was this big area, like it's like a dip.
Yeah.
Where you kind of went down to the bar level, like a 5-foot drop, and then into the back room.
All right.
Well, I did a spin with my guitar, and I spun right off the stage, slammed down to the ground, and the whole band like looked and didn't see anything. They heard the whole guitar go bang. They didn't realize what happened. They kept playing.
Right.
And I hit both my arms, and both my arms went numb.
All right.
I was trying to play the guitar, I was kind of alert, and people were screaming and laughing and stuff, and I was trying to keep playing the guitar, and somehow I got back up on stage, but my arms were asleep.
Right.
Because I hit so hard, and I was trying to play. It was great. Probably was my first noise experience. Yeah.
So it was like a little photograph of what was to come.
I think after that it was like, okay, I know my real calling now.
Now.
Churchill's, classic bar, still going, believe it or not, after like 25 to 30 years, actually 30 years. Myron and 2 Watts, we went in there, it was just basically play on the floor, brought in our own gear, and we would just, you know, a lot of people would show up, great party bar, and Dave Daniels, the owner, started knocking down walls and building stages. We started building stages and knocking walls down, build bigger stages, put bigger sound systems. Now it's one of the most respected rock bars in the country. It's like Dave Daniels is an old promoter from England. He booked people like Robert Plant, and you know, back all those old '70s rock heroes. And when they were just in their, you know, when they were just starting out, he booked a lot of skiffle acts, and he had a lot of big concerts and stuff in England. And then he got into the, I guess, into the catering industry with the, and he moved here to Miami. He liked it, and he bought a building, an old bar, Charlie and Harriet. That's where C&H comes from. And he lived in the house behind the bar and built like a rock empire. Well, King Felix was like the end of that era, the beginning of a new era. In late, say in 84, 85.
Right.
King Felix and Stephen Nestor, Slap, and Edward Bob were 3 electronic artists. And Edward Bob and Stephen Nestor had a group called the Happiness Boys. And the Happiness Boys were a very popular electronic group. They got very popular in England. And they were way ahead of their time. Great musicians.
Right.
Where King Felix is more, let me sample something off my TV set and play it over 60 times and record, you know. So I kind of liked that whole vibe back then, and that kind of changed my direction in music, working with those guys. Okay. And I kind of lost taste of all the other stuff.
Right.
Immediately. Marilyn Manson.
Right. You did their Marilyn's first release.
I did their first releases, yeah. And that kind of like, you know, those were just like recordings I did, you know, and I kind of stayed in the background on those. Well, put a band called Scraping Teeth. So they gave us a night in that bar, and we would just sit there and do extreme noise.
Right.
In this little tiny bar. of guitars and whatever we can do, you know.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you know, cops would show up and then, what are you guys doing, man? They would smash, beat their bats on our amps and stuff. And,
Yeah.
and then they would calm down after they talked to us, like the music made them nuts.
Yeah.
And so Scraping Teeth kind of involved. And then those guys had to go on their separate ways, and I grabbed Dim Things, originally from Rolling Pins 2.
Right.
And the drummer, great drummer, solo artist,
Right.
Dim Things Shine. He did a lot of records. He was really huge in the sound choice, underground tape world.
Right.
Option, you know, he's very, very respected artist in those days. And Fish Fungus, who was professor of music here in North Miami at a private school.
Yeah.
He played bass, and Tim Things played drums. I played guitar. And Screaming Teeth, we went and played for years and years, and we kind of played for like 5 years straight at Churchills and Washington Square. We did one night a week
Yeah.
at Churchills,
Yeah.
and we do Thursday at Churchills, and we do every Wednesday at Washington Square for like years. And it was the most unlistenable music you could ever sit in front of.
Didn't you win like a contest as worst band in America for
Yeah,
Spin?
so Spin Magazine got a cassette of ours.
Right.
And somehow, after 700 tapes, 7 trash bags full of tapes, we were named the worst band in America. And they flew us to New York. We played CB's, open bar for 3 hours.
Right.
300-400 people there with earplugs. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's a great band. We only did one album. We actually recorded it live in the studio as I mixed it, playing guitar and singing. We pushed every limit, and somehow we ended up successful at it. We were like the opposite spectrum of what you would think would be good music. We were the completely unlistenable.
The infamous Rat Bastard. You just did a European tour. How did that go?
Pretty amazing.
Laundryroom Squelchers.
Laundryroom Squelchers, another band that developed after the Scraping Teeth era. I really wanted a band that really rocked. I thought that women have a lot of energy, and I felt that I don't want to play in a band that has men anymore. I want to play with women only.
Right.
They have a lot of energy, and they rock harder than men.
Yeah.
They just destroy everything.
Yeah.
Okay. and they can keep going for hours.
Yeah.
Laundryroom Squelchers, replace the Scraping Teeth,
Right.
is completely unlistenable, but 10 times more intense. They could play for 2 hours. We would play 2-hour sets of Churchills, maybe 3 hours straight of this unlistenable, highly intense noise music, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
We're not like we're more like junk noise. We're not like your record pushing noise band.
Yeah, yeah.
But, you know, I'm involved with a band that is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
A band called Cock ESP.
Right.
I was involved with them for years. Great. One of the most respected noise bands in history.
Yeah.
They've played with Merzbow. They've done, you know, you name the most famous noise artists. They've been involved in one way or another. And I worked with a band in the early 90s, Harry Pussy, until Live and Shave in L.A.
Right.
They were also very influential in my existence, musical existence.
Right.
And also recorded with great songwriters,
Right.
Marilyn Fieles.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Did some work with Island and Tommy Dowd.
Brian Franklin.
Brian Franklin, great songwriter. Emily Easterly.
Yeah.
Diane Ward.
Right.
I've worked with some great songwriters.
I see you're a big fan of Sonic Youth, Frank. You obviously you're wearing a T-shirt
I think
there.
they were a great band, but you got to remember, we're talking about Miami.
Right.
Thurston was born in Miami.
Really?
Yeah, he was born in Kendall.
Ah.
Yeah, so he's a
Not many
Miami
people
guy.
know that. I mean, I didn't know
Can't
that.
get any more, punk than that.
Yeah.
Let's start. Well, back then there was a weekly called The Wave started, and one of the writers, Greg Baker,
Yeah.
and Todd Anthony were the music writers. Well, they were really. Todd Anthony did more film, but he was heavily involved in music. But Greg Baker covered a lot of the great bands, and Charlie, and all the songwriters. He was very big into songwriting. I mean, it was like, I used to do reviews of music reviews of bands back in the 80s. I kind of got out of it, but Greg Baker, Todd Anthony, those are the top music writers. Yeah.
Do you ever think that what was going on between 79 and 85, do you think that ever could happen again, or?
I hope not. It was a lot of it was pathetic, musically horrible.